At the edge of a small coastal town stood an old watch shop with a faded sign that read, "Time Repaired." Here, the owner, Mr. Alder, had been mending watches for nearly 50 years. His hands were thin, his back slightly bent, but his eyes still held the sharp patience of a man who understood silence. Inside, the shop smelled of oil and dust. Wooden drawers lined the walls, each labeled in his careful handwriting: gears, springs, faces, hands. When he worked, the whole room seemed to breathe in rhythm with the ticking around him. Hundreds of clocks, all slightly out of sync, filled the air with their uneven music. Every morning, Mr. Alder wound each clock one by one. It took him almost an hour, but he never rushed. The townsfolk would pass the window and smile. He was as much a part of the street as the lighthouse or the gulls. He lived alone above the shop. His wife, Lena, had passed away long ago, and their only son had moved overseas. Letters had stopped coming years before, but Alder kept the last one folded neatly inside his desk drawer, a habit of holding on even when time itself had let go. One gray afternoon, a boy appeared at the doorway. His jacket was too big, his shoes scuffed. "Are you the man who fixes broken things?" he asked. Mr. Alder looked up from his workbench. "Mostly clocks," he said. The boy nodded and held out a small wooden box with a brass hinge. "It used to tick," he said. "My father said it belonged to his grandfather, but now it won't." Alder took the box carefully. It wasn't a clock, not exactly. Inside was a glass window, beneath which sat a small metal bird, wings poised mid-flight. He turned it over in his hands. "A songbird," he murmured. "A music box." He wound the key gently. Nothing happened. He wound again. Still silence. The boy's face fell. "Can you fix it?" "I'll try," said the old man. "Come back in a few days." That evening, he placed the box beside his lamp. He opened it again and again, searching for a reason: a spring out of place, a wheel too tight. But everything inside seemed fine. It simply refused to sing. For 3 nights, he worked on it. He replaced the hinge, polished the brass, adjusted the tension. Still nothing. On the 4th night, as the waves crashed faintly against the harbor, Mr. Alder sighed and leaned back. The bird stared at him through its glass window, still mute, perfect. He thought of all the things he had fixed in his life, and the few he had not. The broken wedding ring he could never mend. The clock that stopped the day Lena died. The silence of a son who no longer wrote. He closed the lid. "Some things," he whispered, "aren't meant to start again." The next morning, the boy returned. "Well?" he asked. Mr. Alder handed him the box. "It won't play," he said, "but it's clean now, and it will last a long time if you keep it dry." The boy nodded slowly. "Thank you anyway." He tucked it under his arm, then hesitated. "Do you think it's broken forever?" The old man smiled faintly. "Maybe not. Maybe it just has nothing more to say." The boy frowned at that, not quite understanding, and left. That evening, as Alder closed the shop, he noticed the music box still sitting on the counter. The boy had forgotten it. He lifted the lid one last time. The room was quiet, except for the whisper of the sea and the breathing of 100 ticking clocks. Then a faint note, barely a sound, like a breath through glass. He leaned closer. The bird trembled once, then stopped. Silence returned. Alder chuckled softly. "That's enough," he said. "Just enough." He placed the box on the highest shelf, between 2 small alarm clocks that rarely agreed on the hour. Then he turned off the lights and climbed the stairs to his room. He made tea, sat by the window, and watched the fog roll in from the harbor. The letter from his son still rested in the drawer, edges worn soft by time. He didn't open it tonight. Instead, he let the steady ticking from below fill the space where thoughts might have been. The sound was imperfect, clocks drifting in and out of rhythm, but together they made something close to peace. Outside, the lighthouse blinked once, then again. Time moved, as it always did, uneven, patient, forgiving. And somewhere above the shop, an old man smiled into the dark, content to let the world keep its secrets.